We have finally had our first look at DMZ, and boys, what did I tell you? It isn't going to replace Tarkov, but it's going to bring more people into the extraction shooter genre. This is an extraction shooter that everyone can pick up and play, and on a surface level I completely get why people are confused saying it's just Warzone with AI, but digging a little deeper you can see that there's a lot more to it, and it'll be fun for quite a large player base. So I'm going to break down everything that I've seen from watching Dr. Lupo play in the event that happened last night, and thank you to Dr. Lupo for letting everyone use his content for content purposes. It is great because obviously not everyone has been able to play it yet. We have to wait until November 16th, but this actually looks fun and I'll be covering it a hell of a lot on the channel. Before you go into a raid, there is 3 things on the top of the DMZ menu. You got the lobby where you can actually lobby up and ready up for a game. You got operator where you can pick any operator, and you've got weapon, which is your loadout pretty much. It creates your loadout and it is your stash. So if you were to click on weapons, you'll be greeted with this screen. You've got up the top, you've got what you've got on soldier. You get an armor carrier, a gas mask, a kill streak, and a self revive. Now all of these you have to pick up in raid, with the exception from the armor carrier by the looks of it, but we don't know whether this is just placeholder for the event that happened and we have to find all of it, or whether we all get an armor carrier going into each raid. There are various types of armor carriers. This is the basic one. It only allows you to equip 1 plate, similar to how Warzone does it, where you just slot a plate in, you can pick plates up throughout the world. But there's obviously heavier armor carriers as well, which allows you to have more plates. Underneath that you got a backpack. Everyone has a small backpack by the looks of it, which allows you to carry just a few items. You can add keys to the backpack, which you can bring out of raid and store in your stash as well. These keys can be for points of interest like police stations, armories, etc. That backpack isn't just for keys though, it's for anything that you pick up in your raid. For example, valuables like tea, coffee, gold bars, etc. can all be found randomly throughout the world, and you can sell that at in-game buy stations. I'll cover these a little bit later on in the video. And then lastly on this screen you have loadout, which allows you to pick your weapons, your tacticals, your lethals, and a field upgrade. Field upgrades, tacticals, and lethals all seem to be persistent. If you die you can just still take them in again into the next run, but weapons are a little different. You lose your weapons upon death, similar to any other extraction shooter including Escape from Tarkov, and for weapons you need to pick them out of your contraband stash. It looks like you can store up to 20 weapons in here, and you can collect these from the world and mod them out in the world also. And you've also got insurance slots in here as well. You get 1 by default, and you've got 2 more that you can unlock by completing tiers in factions. So there are faction missions as well, so that'll give you a little bit more of an objective and a reason to go into your raids. There are 3 factions to choose your missions from. You've got Legion, White Lotus, and Black Mouse, and each of them have individual missions that you can complete inside your raids. For example, on this screen here, you've got Make Contact, Locate and Scavenge, and Alcatala Informant. And once you've done that, you'll then unlock another mission called Storm the Stronghold. And each of them have different objectives that you need to complete. And then once you've done that, you go up a tier in that faction, and then you would do it all again or get different missions, and the same for each of the factions. And this, I assume, will get increasingly more challenging. You deploy randomly into the Al Mazrah map, and you will be greeted with the TAC map straight away. It's worth looking at where you spawn pretty much straight out the gate, because there are tons of points of interest all clearly marked on the map. It has a legend as well, so you can see what is about. You got exfils, contracts, weapon cases, etc. all on the TAC map screen for you, but you can just see from this screenshot here just how much is in the area. Now you have radiation zones as well marked, and that has higher tier enemies but also higher tier loot for you to equip, but there are items that you can pick up in a raid for radiation blockers and gas masks, which can help you survive in these areas. So every green marker you can see on this map here is a contract that you can do, which will happen live in the raid. And also you've got your missions on top of that to complete. It really is a good game mode for paving your own playstyle and doing what you want before timer runs out and the gas starts closing in and you need to find an extract location. So there are multiple extract locations that you can go to where a helicopter can come in and pick you up, but as you're doing that you'll need to fight off AI, and throughout the whole map in general there are a lot of AI. And the AI isn't easy, but it isn't difficult either. I'll explain. Start off, you'll go in and there's AI wandering around the map. Different locations and different hotspots, for example the observatory is one of them, and other locations around the Al Mazrah map will have harder enemies. Same with strongholds and fortresses and stuff like that. If you were to go and try and take over one of those or go and loot them where the higher tier loot is, you'll notice that the enemies are not only armoured, they'll have better weapons, but also be harder to kill as well, and they will kill you faster. So the normal AI walking around on the street, pretty normal, pretty standard ground war AI, a little bit more advanced. But then you go into these hotspot areas and it is like trying to tell the difference between a player and an AI. They will take cover, they'll try and flank you, and they'll take you out in just a couple of hits. So that is where you need to be tactical with how you play your game. AI will also get increasingly harder in general as time goes on throughout the raid. You'll see helicopters spawning in random locations and dropping soldiers in, and that is where you need to be extra careful. You'll also have roaming AI in vehicles, which you can kill and take over the vehicle, as well as finding parked vehicles around the map as well. And vehicles are needed because this is quite a large map with tons to do, and especially if you've spawned quite far away from where you need to go for your missions, you're going to need to be traversing this map and avoiding contact or hiding and running from players pretty frequently. All vehicles can be found in random locations, but they do need gas to be able to drive. Some of them spawn with gas inside of them, but others need to be found. You can find jerry cans around the map which you can pick up, which will give fuel for your vehicle, but you can also find gas stations marked on the map as well, which you can go to, and you've got pretty much guaranteed spawn for those jerry cans. Inventory management is a huge thing by the looks of it in DMZ. The small backpack only allows you to carry a limited amount of stuff. As you can see here, Lupo has a large backpack. You can find larger backpacks around the world and on dead enemies. It looks like the larger backpack not only gives you more space for loot, but also gives you extra weapon slots where you can put weapons in, and that will allow you to extract with them or sell them at buy stations as well. As you can see from the screenshot, every valuable that Lupo has picked up has a price next to it. All of those items can actually be sold at buy stations hidden throughout Al Mazrah and located on the map. And here you can sell everything, and that cash can be used to buy gear, and all of the gear at these buy stations, as you can see, will have random items each time you visit a buy station. You can buy all of these items and they will cost various amounts. You can also buy contraband, which is weapons from your stash, and you can sell valuables and just keep your money aside as well. A great idea and a good way to implement sort of like an in-game trader system, but a lot easier and faster paced, so you don't need to sit in that trader menu for ages. As I mentioned earlier, keys play a massive part in Al Mazrah. The strongholds specifically, if you can find a stronghold key, you'll find that strongholds are locked. When you unlock strongholds and you go around the map, you will find that there are harder tier enemies, and these strongholds and points of interest not only have a lot of enemies and armoured enemies in them, but also traps as well. You can open a door and there'll be a tripwire with explosives rigged. So you have to be very careful. You can't just run in and jump in like a normal Call of Duty player. You'll have to sort of take care of the doors, peek around them, make sure you're clear, and then clear through the buildings. Also, the keys have uses, so you can't just open every door that is locked in the stronghold. A stronghold key will only have 2 uses, for example, and therefore you might need multiple keys to completely clear the stronghold and get all of the secrets and the loot. Fortresses that you find around the map also have named enemies, and they spawn with unique and higher tier items as well once you kill them, so that is a worthy point of interest to go to as well, although it is going to be a challenge to clear it out. Other things to note as well from what I've seen in this short little playtest: you've got SAM sites and UAV towers. There are helicopters, as I mentioned, that drop AI. The SAM sites can help clear that out for you. And you've also got UAV towers. This will give you a small area UAV to see where all the players and enemy AI are for a short period of time. Extracts are also an absolute pain in the ass. They give me Cycle Frontier vibes, Once you've activated the exfil, you have to wait for the helicopter to land, and then once you get in the helicopter, you've got a short timer for it to fly off. Inside the helicopter you will see gas masks, so that's sort of like a freebie for getting out. You can pick that up just before you leave, and you will carry that out with your character. And then once you leave, you get all the XP, you get quite a lot of XP, and then you can just gear up, go again, store stuff in your stash if you want to, or take it all in and double or nothing, risk it all or lose it all. It's a really interesting concept. As I've mentioned, it seems to be a very casual introduction to extraction shooters, and I feel like with development this game mode can go a long way. It is coming free with Warzone on November 16th, so everyone can give this a go, and like I said, I feel like a lot of the player base will enjoy this game mode. Hardcore Tarkov fans and hardcore extraction shooter fans might be disappointed with this, but this is a good step for bringing extraction shooters to the forefront of future game development. This is a AAA's attempt at an extraction shooter. This is a good thing, and only a good thing. If you want to see more DMZ content, then get subscribed, because I'm going to be covering it a hell of a lot when it releases next week. But if you want to see it more now, then I'll leave Lupo's full live stream from this little playtest down below in the description as well. You can watch that. But I do want to know what you guys think down below in the comments. Do you think this is a good step for Call of Duty? Do you think it's not needed in a Call of Duty game? And will you be playing it? Let me know all down below in the comments, and if you don't have anything to comment, just leave your favourite emoji, because it really helps the algorithm, and we all know we need to beat that YouTube algorithm. So thank you so much for watching, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.